Yeah. Hey, we got a special guest here right now, man. This is an honor to have this guy here. He is the head coach for basketball team
The
at
man, the
Mission Bay
myth.
at Mission Bay High School. He is a man. That's right. He's a guy, man. I see him on his motorcycle around the block all the time.
In the bike lane.
In the bike lane. He's a scofflaw for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dennis Kane.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I'm overwhelmed. All right. Oh my goodness!
My
Great
brother.
to be here.
I hope that check clears, Coach.
Yeah,
After
man.
that intro.
Oh my gosh. My brother, what's happening?
Oh, just enjoying my life. Getting ready for another basketball season to start here, November 16th. Looking forward to it.
November 16th, Iggy. And who's first? Who got first?
Well, we open up in the Hilltop tournament. I forget who we're playing. Then we're playing in the Bishops tournament, December 16th through the 19th, and then we got the Surf and Slam at our place after Christmas. So
The Surf and Slam. I love
haven't
that.
really gotten the brackets yet, but
Okay.
we'll just play the people that are in front of us. Do
Wow.
the best we can with what we got.
Put them out there.
Game by game.
You'll play 'em.
Game by game.
Destroy.
Yeah. Taking
Man,
names.
I got this bio, man. Some of this brought a tear to my eye, but most everything does. That barbecue out there is bringing a tear to my eye.
Oh, man.
Where's that place in La Jolla?
At the
Oh,
Cove.
prospects.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Bubba's
Bubba's
Barbecue.
Barbecue.
Bubba's
Smokehouse.
Barbecue. I heard it's right across the street from Richard Walker's. I've been to Richard Walker's a couple of times. Now I'm going to have to go to
You're
Bubba's.
gonna have
I
to
go
go
to
to
Bubba's
Bubba's.
now.
You gotta go to Bubba. And just tell them that you know us.
Yeah, they'll probably charge me double.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sweet Christine brought that down there, right?
The
Yeah,
American
yeah,
Express.
she did.
Oh man, go see my man Jeff and our sweet Christine down there at Bubba's. But hey, 419 career wins, 7th all time in the history. What's going on, Coach? I mean, where do you get this?
Shoot. You want to hear an interesting story about
Yes,
that?
I do.
Last year there was an article in the newspaper about Jim Tomei over at Parker having his 400th win. And I was at lunch with Coach Peterson, the coach at Kearney High School where I started, right, years ago. And he, we're talking about it, yada, yada, yada. He goes, how many wins you got? I go, hell, I don't know. I never counted them up. He says, you should go home and count them up. So I did. And I didn't know I had 419 wins.
And nobody cared. What the hell?
I care.
I care.
Well, and then I got the list. They had a list in the newspaper about the guys there, and I'm going, Jesus, this is a pretty good company.
Yeah.
What's incredible is Ray Johnson, 762 wins
Whoa.
over 33 years at El Camino.
Whoa.
I mean, that's just like astronomical. That's like 20 plus games a year for 33 years.
Whoa.
So,
Yeah, he just got inducted in the San Diego
Hall champion.
Hall of Champions.
Yeah,
He's a
I've seen
coaching
him.
legend. I went to that dinner Thursday night. It was great to see him.
Well, there's a spot for you there waiting, Coach. I know.
I hope so. I'd love to be there, Since I was a kid, it's been a ball, a basket, and a dream for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
love
love that.
since 14, basketball has been my mistress.
He's in love with Spalding.
Take notes.
My mom used to, when girls, the occasional girls I used to bring over, one of the first questions she used to ask them, do you like basketball?
Because he does.
Yeah.
So, Coach, you had 33 guys go to college.
Yeah.
Can you tell me some of those guys?
Oh, my goodness. It's a long, long list.
Yeah.
It's only an hour show, bro.
I know, but I want to hear some names.
Well, let's see.
Well, you had a guy in NCAA championship. Who was that?
That was Charles Jock.
Charles John.
He won the 800 meters in the
Oh,
NCAA champion.
Yep.
He's also the state champion. So I don't think I'm ever going to win a state championship on the basketball level or an NCAA championship. At least I can claim a little bit of fame to
exactly.
having an NCAA champion and
I
state
think you
champion.
helped this track crew get off
Yeah.
the ground there.
There's a really kind of a heartbreaking story there. When he was a sophomore, he came from a large family, and they were immigrants to the country from all the turmoil in Africa, and his dad died real suddenly, and he didn't come to school for like 3 weeks because he was so torn up by the loss of his dad, and it happened boom boom. So he comes to school, and he's walking from the team room over to across the blacktop to the gym, and me being my normal sympathetic self.
Yeah.
I go, where the hell have you been for the last 3 weeks? And he just starts tearing up.
Oh,
And he starts telling me, well, Coach, I'm thinking about dropping out of school.
man.
He kind of lost his hope. And, he kind of lost his faith. And so it ended up being one of those teaching moments,
Right.
Where I told him, listen, there's nothing you can do about that. But what would your dad want for you?
Right.
How can you honor your dad? How can you,
Right.
what would your dad want for you? And, he went on to graduate from high school, win the state in the 800 meters, went on to have a great running career at UC Irvine, won the NCAA championship his senior year. Now he's running professionally for
Nike. I believe.
Nike. Yeah. And, I'm just a little bit disappointed in him because,
Slacker.
in 2000, he's slacker. In the 2012 finals for the Olympics, he promised me that if he goes to the Olympics, he's taking me. So here I think I'm going to London in 2012, and, I'm watching it on TV. He takes the lead in the first, 150. He's got the lead in the, 300 meters and 650 meters. He's in first place, and then goes from first to last. Last 150 meters.
Coach Kane packed and unpacked
immediately
during 100 meter, 800 meter. I've never seen that.
So anyway, we're shooting for the 2016 Olympics.
Oh, okay. There you
ready
go.
for Brazil?
Yeah, well, I figure I may be, all done teaching and coaching in 2016.
Let's go. I'm down. You down?
Coach, you don't have one of them little underwears they wear out there in Brazil.
Speedos?
For the beach, yeah. You don't wear that, dude.
The banana. He's hiding his the banana hammock.
The slinger.
Yeah, the marble slack.
Oh, man. But, Coach, you stated in your bio, you said the players have given me as much as I've given them. Elaborate on that, my man. That's a great statement.
Well, like I said earlier, it was a ball, a basket, and a dream for me. Since I fell in love with the game of basketball when I was 14 years old. What happened was we moved from the Willow Glen area of San Jose over to the Branham High School area, and our house was 2 blocks from the school, and so actually tennis growing up was my best sport.
Oh, wow.
I was only one of 2 guys at Branham High School my freshman year that led varsity, and in those days you had to earn a letter. You had to meet second round quarters. You had to. And I was the number 5 guy on the tennis team, and the number 1 and number 2 both got scholarships. But this is kind of an interesting story. I was playing tennis with my sister one night, and the tennis courts were kind of in the back of school. We were walking back, and I saw this light, okay? And I was kind of drawn to the light. As I got closer, I could hear balls bouncing, and I could hear sneakers, in the squeaking on the floor. And I walked in, I went up to the door, and there it was. It was like, up in San Jose, they don't have rec centers, so they used to open up the high schools.
Yeah.
And I just went, I got to be here. So I went home and I was all excited, and I told my mother about it. Oh, no, I don't want you up there with those men. They swear.
They swear. So do I, Mom.
But our high school gym was open up. So it was open up every Tuesday, Thursday night from 7 to like 9:30, and Saturday mornings from like 9 to 12. And from then on, that's where I wanted to be. Because I was only one of the 3 5th graders to play on the 7th grade football team. I was a really good athlete. I could play baseball and football and basketball. But after that, man, it was just basketball. And I just had to be there. My mother wouldn't let me go. And same thing, too. Well, you can go on Saturdays and do your chores Friday night. So for the first year and a half I was in high school, I used to do my chores on Friday night. So I could go play, basketball Saturday morning. Same thing, too. I used to leave the house. The coach didn't show up until about 9:30. I used to leave my house like at 8:15, no later than 8:25, because my mother got up at 8:30. And if I didn't leave the house before then, she'd give me more chores to do. So I used to sit out in the gym waiting an hour for Coach Ursick to show up, And it was a wonderful experience. I learned how to play, and great competition. The guys knew how to play right. A lot of them are, former college players or, really good players from high school that were up at that gym. So it was quite an education. And, and when I was a senior in high school, I coached the freshman basketball team. And that's where I found that, this is something I did really well, and I loved it because I was a starting point guard on our basketball team my senior year, but the freshman team used to play in the fall. And so I coached that team. The drafting teacher got the job, but he didn't know anything about basketball.
Whoa.
So he asked me if I'd help him coach. So, sure,
While
why
you're still
not?
playing?
Well, no, they used to play in the fall.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, and then we played in the winter.
Okay.
And so it was just kind of a wacky system they had up in San Jose. So anyway, it was the first time they'd ever had a winning season. We went 9-1, you know.
Yeah.
And then I started to play in college at West Valley Junior College, and I got in a motorcycle accident, you know, the first week in November. And then after I kind of healed up, the high school basketball coach asked me if I'd help him start coaching, you know, because I had been working with one of his players, Kevin Smith, who lived 3 houses down from me, and I was taking him to the gym with me, and you know, Coach Ursic could see the improvement. And Coach Ursic was kind of like, you know, my first like mentor, my first example of, you know, how you run a basketball program. So I did that for 3 years, and then I moved down here to finish up school. And everybody thinks I stayed down here because of the weather. It was like when I moved down here, it was like I died and went to heaven. You could play basketball 7 days a week in an indoor facility,
Right.
with glass backboards, hardwood floor. Yeah, I mean, within a 5-mile radius, I had a place to play every day, and I played every day.
Man.
You know, I mean, I was a gym rat. I still love being in the gym. So.
And you went to San Diego State to get your.
Yeah, I finished up at San Diego State, did my teaching credential there. And the same thing, too, when I finished back in like 1981, 1982, they said, if you want a job, you need to go to L.A. You're not going to get a job here. Well, I made the decision I was going to stay here. I'd fallen in love with the town by then.
Right.
You know, and so I started working at Lincoln High School. I worked the in-school suspension room.
That's a lot of fun.
Oh, it was. It was quite an education. You know, that was quite an education. And just learning how to deal with kids, and dealing with personalities, and, you know, making connections with kids. And then I worked 1 year at Kearney High School because I had been coaching the JV team for 4 years at Kearney High School, and then 1 year at Kearney High School, and then I got the head coaching job at San Diego High in 1986. And that was an interesting year.
Wow.
You know, I mean, when I was the JV coach at Kearney, you know, Coach Peterson and I were rebuilding the basketball program there. They were a real powerhouse in the 70s, and they kind of gone by the wayside, you know, when we got there in the 80s. And he got there, I think, the same year I got there to do his student teaching. And we helped turn that program around, you know.
First 4 years, right? Your first 4 years there, you got it successful?
Oh, yeah. At Kearney, we had a lot of success. I mean, we were 56-13 over the 4 years I was a JV coach. Won 4 league championships.
All 4 years.
All 4 years.
Man.
It's amazing what kids can do to overcome the coach and how resilient kids are these days. You know, and in Kearney, you know, one of the proudest moments is, I think the third year we were like ranked 7th in the county, you know, at the varsity team. You know. So anyway, and I took the job. I got to tell you an interesting story when we get back from the break.
Okay.
About Bishop Bay and Kearney.
All right. Well, we'll be right back with Coach Kane, the venerable one, on the Coach Rowe Show. We'll be right back in a bit. Hey, we're back. I'm Coach Rowe. This is the Coach Rowe Show. Iggy, you still here, baby?
I don't know how to greet you now. I'm all confused.
My man Armand's here, man. You know, he took a little hiatus from the planet Love Tron. The king of the concubines.
Concubines,
Thanks
really?
for coming, my man.
Wow, that's a little educational on your part.
Taking time out from.
Do you have to look that word up in the dictionary, or somebody feed you that word?
I just got dizzy.
Someone
said
said
that
that.
my right eye. Okay.
Someone said that in a text to him. Still trying to figure it out.
We're here with the main man, head coach of Mission Bay basketball, Dennis Kane. I remember when he worked at the North Claremont Rec Center. Man, he terrorized me, man. I just wanted to check out a ball. This guy was going nuts. I mean, I was afraid. I'd say to my brother, "Hey, go check out the ball, man." You know,
he's like, "No, you check out the ball."
That was crazy. But so
there was always a method to my madness, you know.
Exactly.
Always a method to the madness.
I just wanted to check out a ball, man.
Yeah, if you weren't strong enough to have a strong enough constitution and come straight forward, he really didn't want the ball. It made my job easier.
Exactly. Well, so you cut your teeth with the great Bill Peterson at Kearney.
Yeah, I sure did. He gave me my first opportunity to coach here in San Diego, and I owe him for that. You know.
Great man.
Yeah, he was a great man.
So in 1986, you become the head coach of San Diego High School. You said 0-19.
0-19 the first year. I lost more games that first year than I lost in 4 years at Kearney High School combined.
Wow. They said you had won 3 games in 5 years, and you were guaranteed 2 things when you played San Diego: a win and a fight.
Yep, that was the reputation at San Diego High at the time.
Man.
And what Coach Peterson told me was, hey, you go there for 2 years, you make a name for yourself, and then you go someplace where you got a chance to win. And it was tough the first year, and but I learned a lot from those kids.
Right.
And I stayed there for 17 years. I fell in love with those kids there and that whole situation. I mean, that was one of the greatest experiences in my life. When I actually got hired for the job, I really didn't have a teaching position. And Dr. Ampron, who's like a second father to me, was the principal at the time. And we met over the summer and we were talking and everything. And so I took over the team during the summer and we were just getting drilled. I mean, these kids didn't know how to play right. They didn't, have the kind of skills we needed to have. And they just needed a lot of direction and control. So we're losing and, the kids are used to losing. There's the whole losing attitude. So I'm watching all this. And then there was this big white kid who used to ride his bike up there every game. His name was Andy Swindle. He ended up being one of my all-time favorite players.
Wow.
And so he'd sit there and on his bike at Muni Gym when they, during the summer league, when all the summer league games used to be played there, and he just watched. So after about the 3 games, he's about 6'4", 190 pounds, Yeah. You want to play with us? No. I'm thinking, okay. So we go through the whole summer league, all right? And we go off with the season, and it's tough. It's really tough. Losing is a habit, and so is winning.
Okay. And
to develop a winning habit really kind of tests me. Okay, it really tested me. And I remember come January, I'm thinking, these guys think I'm not going to come back. They think I'm going to be like all those other guys, And I started telling them in January, I'm going to be back next year. I'm coming back. So you can learn this stuff now, you can learn this stuff later. But, we started winning in the spring when we played Spring League. And winning is infectious, and then we had a great summer. And there's a good story about Andy Swindle, Brad Milhone, who was one of the best assistants I ever had. He played for me at Kearney on the JV teams. He was my 9th grade coach. And I thought I needed to go out and, make contact. So I went to coach at the Stanford basketball camp. And it was just at the same time the summer league playoffs are starting. And we got all the way to the finals. And we lost in the finals to UC. And so when I got back from Stanford, Andy was all mad at me. I said, well, why are you so mad at me? Well, if you would have been there, coach, we would have won. Oh. And then I realized, that trust for a lot of kids is a hard thing for them to give you.
Right.
And, they were playing for me. They weren't playing for the school. And that was the last time I ever coached, a team camp or anything that interfered with my kids.
Right.
So, that's the kind of lesson where I say they gave me as much as I gave them. Growing up south of 8, I remember taking Tim Mitchell, taking him to the Stanley Park with me on Sundays. And we're, for 6-8 weeks, we're driving up the 163 to the 805 to go to Stanley Park. And I remember him asking me after about 8 weeks, or Coach Kane, is that Fashion Valley or Mission Valley? On the left. And he had never been north of 8.
Wow.
And so just the kind of education that they had versus the education that I had. Right. You want to hear a good story about Andy Swindle and Robert Turner? Robert Turner was a senior when Andy Swindle was a junior. And we're playing in the Torrey Pines tournament. And Mar Vista beats us by 30. Oh. That's how bad we were. And they're introducing us. So you remember when the high five first started, boom, they used to go around and clap hands. Well, they introduced the guards and then they introduced the forwards. So, Andy gets introduced and Robert was our center. So Robert thought that Andy was going low. And Andy thought they were going high. So Andy went high, Robert went low, and Andy went low, and then Robert hit him right in the face. 2 hands right in the face. Okay. And Andy's all upset and everything. So anyway, they read a review back in those days when the paper used to do a big, extensive interview, process for preseason stuff. Right. So they're talking to me, and me being my normal diplomatic self.
Diplomatic, baby.
And I go, yeah, we're so bad we can't even do a high five. So the kids read this, and it really hurt them, I mean, again, these are all things you're learning while you're coaching.
Right.
They're very sensitive to any kind of criticism and stuff like that. And so, anyway, we're playing Lincoln the last game of the year, all right? And Lincoln, was the dominant team in our league. And so they're introducing the starting lineups. So they introduce the guards, and then they introduce the forwards, and then Robert's the last guy out. And him and Andy slap hands up top, come around, they clap hands about. And I turn to the referee, I go, look at it. You see that right there? That's 1 year's worth of coaching right there, baby. We finally did the high five right. And the referee's looking at me like, what? What?
Let's get in the car and go home.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, we even led that game the first quarter, so that was a whole year's worth of coaching right there. We did the high five right.
Got the high five right.
So, Coach, like you mentioned that, when you're a coach, everybody knows that you're a mentor, you're a father, you're a banker, you're a chauffeur, and everything. How do you go from 0-19? How do you instill the Coach Kane type of discipline to your team to make them a winning program?
Self-control, self-discipline, and self-sacrifice. You got, I define self-control as the ability to control what you say and what you do. Mm-hmm. Self-discipline is doing what you have to do, doing it to the best of your ability, and doing it that way all the time without being told. Mm-hmm. And self-sacrifice is giving up something now to have more later. And, when I moved down here, I had never really been around kids of color or kids in desperate situation. I grew up in pretty much a middle-class family, where there was a safe, secure home. There's always food in the refrigerator, and I was running in situations where kids didn't have any of those things. Right. So, I try to eliminate all their excuses for failure. And I realized that, when I got to San Diego High, I thought I was just going to be an X's and O's guy. And I found out I had to be a whole lot more.
Right.
And so if I wanted to be successful out there, I was going to have to take a paternal interest in my kids. And so it's kind of one of those things where, everything kind of fell into place. It worked to my personality, and it worked for those kids there. So I just try to eliminate all excuses for failure. And I try to treat them all like my sons. So what would I want my son to do? How would I want my son to act? Right. What would I expect out of him? And, I'll cop to the accusation. I'm a very demanding coach, and I'm not easy to get along with. It's my way or the highway. But, I've been really successful wherever I've gone.
Right.
All the programs I've been at, we build winners.
Right.
And so, I always tell the kids, I don't really particularly care what you think right now, but if you want to come back and talk to me 4 years later and tell me, Coach Kane, you should have done this, you should have done that, I'll listen to you then. But
yeah,
nobody's ever come back and had that conversation with me.
Coach has only had 3 rules on his team. Yeah. What were those 3 rules, Coach?
Get to practice on time, do what you're told, and work real hard.
Wow. That's it.
That's it. It seems so simple, but then it's so hard. The same thing too. I also take a lot of pride that we're student athletes. The kids can go to class. Mm-hmm. When I got to Mission Bay High School, that's one of the things I was a little bit surprised at. I thought the kids weren't as serious about being students as they should have been.
Mm-hmm. When I was there, we had a kid. He only played 1 year, point guard. God, I wish I could remember his name right now. Just blank. What's that?
Dusty Wade, you're talking about?
No.
Stephen Brown?
It's not Stephen Brown. Played point guard. I think
Tyson Allenbecker?
No. He only played 1 year because he was only eligible 1 year. It was his senior year, but he stuck with it, and he went to study hall every day, and then he finally played his senior year. God, I can't remember what his name was. He played on that championship team too. I wish I could remember right now.
Well,
so I remember taking him home a couple of times, and he's like, his mom never came to see him. He stuck with it.
Maurice McKinney?
Maurice McKinney.
I just saw him.
Really?
I just saw him. He just came by the school last week.
Man.
I got him into the Point Loma football game.
Really?
Yeah. He lost his ring, his championship ring.
Really?
And he wanted to get another one. Yeah, he's moving furniture now. He's doing real well for himself.
Good.
He's got a little 3-year-old son he's trying to raise on his own. But yeah, see, this is the joy of coaching, I mean, he comes in, he's all kind of tatted up, and he's wearing a tank top shirt, And so the vice principal comes up and goes, "Excuse me, can I help you? I'm here to see Coach King." And then she's kind of looking at him cross-eyed. Yeah, we had a great conversation. He was in my office for about an hour. Yeah, he's
He's a great
all
kid, man.
He really was. And there's a classic example of a kid who didn't get all the advantages of having a nice, safe home with, loving and, well, what kind of word do I want to use? Parents that took care of him,
Yeah.
I seen him yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I seen him yesterday. That's right.
But he made it. He made it that senior year.
Yeah.
He was able to play that senior year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And he was telling me he's taking classes down in Southwestern.
Yeah,
Good.
So, yeah, I'm real proud of him. I'm proud of most of my guys, because they've overcome some desperate situations and some desperate circumstances, The neighborhood can really eat you up.
Yeah. Let it. Big time.
Well, I've seen there's a pattern here, Coach. Like San Diego High, 0-19. Then you end up in the CIF championship.
Yeah, 3 years later. Yeah, back in '89-90 was the first year.
Then Mission Bay, 2-17 the first year. Then you win it in 2007.
Yeah, that was a great team. That was, I was really proud of that team because they were taking their whippings when they were freshmen, and they got a little bit better when they were sophomores. It's the same group of kids as juniors, and then seniors they put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really Yeah, the Western League's always been really tough, but I mean to see those guys achieve and to see them grow, not only as basketball players but also as people. Mm-hmm. Here's another really good Andy Swindle story. When I was telling you way back in '86 when we got beat by Mar Vista by 30. The next year they're in the first round of the playoffs. We're playing them at home. Okay, so we whipped them. We beat them by 30. And the next day to see Andy Swindle and Tim Mitchell walking around campus, they're wearing their Leatherman jacket and their chest all puffed out. I mean, that was one of the proudest moments in my coaching career. And then the next game, we're playing La Jolla at La Jolla, and they used to take a lot of our kids. A lot of our kids used to bus out from San Diego High to go to La Jolla, and a lot of the guys that were on the team, had buddies that were going to La Jolla.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're playing them over there. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. Dr. Ampron, who's our principal, is sitting right behind the bench and is about 3 rows up. And man, he got so into that game and so into the season. I mean, it just changed the whole culture of the school.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the referee made a bad call. I'll never forget this. He was standing up there going, "That's bullshit. Bullshit.
My censor button's not working.
But this is the principle. This is the principle, And we beat La Jolla at La Jolla, And then we lost in the semifinals to El Camino, another one of those great Ray Johnson teams that he had with Cobb, and I forget the guy he had from Tennessee. But basketball can do so much for so many. I mean, so you just never know the surprises you're going to get or the rewards you're going to get. Like seeing Maurice McKinney. And I don't know. I didn't know you knew him.
Yeah. Reese.
I mean, this is how old is he now? He graduated in 2008, so 26. Yeah. So I mean, for them to walk in and, it's always gratifying when they want to sit down and talk with you after all those years.
Yeah, well, a lot of kids need somebody to be stern with them or, direct with them. And, they don't have a lot of guidance. So a guy like you comes along. And a lot of kids, like, when you yell at them or something, they kind of like it because, hey, man, this guy cares.
Yeah.
And
what's your Brennan Carroll?
Yeah. Well, one time I bring in Brendan Carroll, who's Pete Carroll's son, when they were at USC, and to see Dylan Baxter. So we walk into the gym, he's there in practice. Everything's closed up. We walk in, the janitor lets me in, we walk in there, and so Brendan Carroll's walking around kind of by himself, and then just looking at Dylan, and all of a sudden Coach Kane, real nice, he just said, Hey, who the hell are you? And what are you doing in my gym?
I'm a firm believer in closed practices. I don't want anybody in my practice unless you got my permission.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes I say things that I don't want everybody to hear. You know, and I talk to those young men as men.
Yeah.
And sometimes I tell them things that's just between us and them.
Yeah.
You know, and so they understand what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
I need to know who my audience is.
Yeah.
Well, you have a
He wasn't your audience.
you have a pretty big audience because you know I take care of our social media, you know, and I post it. So you know we have Seth Gredingson. Do you know he's saying that you taught him a lot basketball. He said he wants to thank you. You got Darren Childs. As well.
Oh,
DJ.
DJ. The
Best
rebounder
rebounder.
extraordinaire.
Right, best rebound.
Don't let him lay up and free throws.
You
He will rebound the hell out of the ball.
have a guy named Michael Boyd from San Diego. He said back in 2000 he didn't play basketball, but he sat out and watched your practices and stuff like that. So
Awesome.
there's a lot of guys out here who definitely look up
Well,
to you.
thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate the kind words. The check's in the mail.
Well, my daughter was a scorekeeper, and the first game she did, she said, "Dad, I love Coach Kane."
Is that the foot and pay game?
He said he's a man. He talks to them guys like they need to be talked to, you know. So yeah, she enjoyed being a scorekeeper.
Yeah, and you know, I realize that they're boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're playing a man's game.
Yeah.
And you got to take on a man's responsibility. You know, I always taught the kids, you know, a man is somebody who's accountable, responsible, and dependable for what they say and what they do. So what you do is what you say, and what you say is what you do. You know, and my facial expressions don't really tell you what's going on inside my head. You know, you always look so mad out there, Coach Kane. You know, I'm not. You never see me chase a referee off the court after a game. You never see me, you know, kick a ball into the stands, you know, anything like that. I mean, I'm very passionate about what I do, and I love the game of basketball. And I think it should be played hard, and I think it should be played right. You know, and I think basketball is, you know, like that T-shirt says, basketball is life. I think, you know, sports is one of the few places where in the educational system, it really is a mirror to what you have to do in life. You know, so, yeah, it's always kind of funny when I hear kids talk about it, you know. Oh, we go to the games to see you get mad at those guys. You yell at them. Really?
I yell?
Really? You know, and that's also something, you know, that people don't see. You know, they wonder sometimes how I get kids to perform, and they don't see all the stuff I do off the floor.
Right.
You know, the talking to them, the driving them home.
Yeah.
You know, all the time and energy I put into those guys. All they see is that, like the tip of the iceberg of that game.
Right.
You know, for an hour and a half. And, you know, it made me kind of realize you're kind of like a symphony conductor, you know.
Yeah.
I probably should be a little less vocal, a little less demonstrative. You know, but I mean, you got to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like Randy Wright, who was a great coach at Christian and Santa Fe Christian, you know, I never saw him raise his voice at all, and he was a great high school basketball coach. But that just doesn't seem to be the way that works for me. So you got to be true to yourself, and kids understand phonies.
Right. They know when you can't coach.
Right. And, you know, and so it just seems to be my way.
Yeah.
But even you know, like you said, even off the court, I didn't play basketball for you, but you for sure kept me and my brother in check. That's for sure.
Well, there was a lot of checking that needed to be done in those days.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys were two good kids, you know, just like a lot of kids. The most important things you learn in life are the things you learn after you know it all, and you two guys didn't know a whole lot.
We thought we did.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's exactly right.
You know, we got bust out of our neighborhood, so we just thought we knew it all. You know?
That was a whole school.
Yeah, you did.
You know?
So as Lincoln closed down, it was
Yeah.
right.
It was a whole school.
So like you said, they only see the tip of the iceberg, like behind the scenes, like, you know, like you say, you're a father and a mentor and everything, but like, I remember that time at Mission Bay when you refurbished that one classroom into a locker room. I mean, tell them about that. That place was like a Taj Mahal, man.
You should see it now. The other room.
Yeah, well, the guy who owns the radio station here or somebody here was talking about Gary Zarsky.
Oh, okay.
And when he was a coach at Sweetwater in the early 80s, And he had this little room off the gym floor that was actually equipment room. He turned into a team room. Mm-hmm. And I remember going down and watching his teams in the playoffs and stuff like that. And I said, if I ever get to be a head coach, I'm going to build a team room like that, Just a sense of a place for the kids to congregate, a sense of pride,
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got to the head coaching job at San Diego High, we had those 2 equipment rooms right off the gym floor. So I was talking to Scotty Harris, our athletic director, and I told him I want to take this one room and turn it into a little basketball team room. He says, no way, we need it for da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going, no, come on, Scotty. We can just move all this stuff over there. So anyway, I'm a little bit pissed off. I'm a little bit mad, We're walking back through the boys' locker room, and there was this huge, wide open area that was just like useless space, and there was 2 poles in the middle of it. So I go, what about this area? And he kind of laughs. He goes, if you can build it, you can have this area. Well, he didn't know my dad was a carpenter. So I got my dad down here, and we built the San Diego High basketball team room, which is still there.
Wow.
Over the summer, me and my dad put it together. And like I said, it became our study hall, something place we met. My wife used to take pictures.
Yeah.
We hung the pictures up. We put their names on their locker.
And then we got saying or
right, yeah. And then, when I went to Mission Bay High School, it was so important to the success. Like I say, it gave the kids a sense of pride. It showed us that we cared, or showed them that I cared. So when I came to Mission Bay High School, I wanted to do the same thing. So I got the vice principal at the time, Fred Hilchers, to give me a room because our enrollment was dropping, especially after Lincoln reopened. And he gave me room 271. And so basically all I did was duplicate what I had done at San Diego High. Only, at the time we had the wood shop.
Yeah. Wow, man, that was...
Right, and we built the lockers, and I put the sayings on, and we put their pictures on it. So, again, it was our study hall, or meeting room, or pre-game, post-game meeting room, a place where we gathered. Yeah. Because, when you talk about where people gather, they gather at tables. Yeah. One of the most important things you can do is break bread with somebody. And so this kind of became the central hub of the spokes of the basketball program. Mm-hmm. And, I like to argue that we have the finest high school basketball team room of anybody in the county. Mm-hmm. East Bay, North County, South Bay City. And so what happened was we got a new trainer, and Palacios asked me to move the team room over closer to the gym. So I think it's 2 years ago, we moved over to another room, which is even bigger than the team room and better. So that's where that came from. It was actually something I stole from Gary Zarsky. But as a hub, in a sense of purpose and a sense of pride for the basketball program.
Right.
Man, and those kids still talk about that. Like I talked to like Tyrell Green and Marcus Parham, and I heard Isaac's back.
Yeah.
Those guys love that room.
Yeah, and what I also did was I also have the senior legacy statement where all the kids who graduate and play for me, I put one of their pictures up on the wall, and then they get a legacy statement where they can say something to the kids that are coming after them. Mm-hmm. So it kind of gives us a sense of continuity and a sense of history too. And then when you walk into the team room, I got all 33, 34 players. I think I actually got 2 more now. I heard that Isaiah Milan is playing at Irvine Valley College or Irvine City College, whatever the hell the name of the place is. And then Alex Wilborn is playing for City College this year. So I got 2 more that I got to put up pictures. But I put up, pictures of all the guys that have played for me that have gone on to college since, I started coaching way back in, the 70s at Branham High School.
Right. Did you also coach your son? Or?
Yeah. Jared played for me.
He's at Palomar, right?
Yeah, he's at Palomar right now. He played last year and did a good job for them. He's probably the 8th or 9th guy coming off the bench, and he was supposed to play a lot more this year, but he injured his foot, so he's sitting out this year. Hopefully it heals right so he can play next year. It's some kind of injury that really couldn't be diagnosed. We had an MRI on it, came out negative. And, he had a CAT scan on it, came out negative, but and it's still giving him lots of pain. Like when he was playing, his dad's like an 8 on a scale of 10. So, give him a lot of credit for having the courage to play on a foot that was giving him that much pain. But hopefully he's going to sit out this year and play again next year.
Probably,
yeah, it was one of the nicest things I got to do was coach Jared. I never told him this, but he didn't really get serious about basketball until after his sophomore year. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest sense of pride and purpose I got was the 2 summers we spent in the gym, shooting every day.
Right.
You know, I mean, he got really serious about it. And during the summer, we used to go in the gym about 10 and work out until 12.
Right.
And, you know, nobody ever worked out with me,
Uh-huh.
you know. They used to tell me, hey, Dennis, be a tennis player, be a wrestler, don't be a basketball player. You know, but that was my passion. So to be able to work with him one-on-one in the gym and spend that time with him and, you know, rebounding the ball for him, you know, I'll never forget that as long as I live.
And so after being a father to everybody else, then you get to coach your own stuff.
Yeah. You know, and I got two great sons, you know. My oldest son, Tyson, he played football on that, you know, team that was 13-0.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and he was voted most inspirational for the team, and he got that CIF, you know, whatever that was, inspirational player of the game. So I'm really proud of both my sons. You know, they're great kids. You know, they got it from their mother most of the time.
You can check out a ball from her. She was probably real nice. You know, she should have worked there, you know. Your ass, oh my God.
Throw it at you, though.
Well, yeah, she was the ice and I was the fire. Yeah, you know, the kids, you know, at San Diego High, she used to make chocolate chip cookies for those kids all the time. And boy, they love those chocolate chip cookies when they played well, you know. She goes, oh, come on, let me make a... Nah, they didn't play any damn defense on that game. You know, wait until they play some defense, you can make some cookies for them.
I got a story for you, though, Ro.
Okay.
We played in the Otay Ranch tournament when Otay Ranch opened up. We freaking won the tournament. Won the whole damn thing. I go off to the side. I'm talking to the other assistant toddling, and I go, where are the guys at? I go, they've been outside for a while. And he's like, he's running them.
Oh my God.
Oh, were they cussing out or something? Were they... Someone keyed his car? He's like, no, they didn't play hard enough defense at the end of the game. They started slacking, so they're doing suicide. Like,
that's a true story.
It is cold out there. But you know what? They never slacked off the rest of that season, man. They played hard. We whooped their butt in the championship game.
Yeah, we won that tournament 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
When the first 3 years that Otay Ranch was open, we played down in that tournament. Yeah, that's a true story. I didn't think they played up to their capabilities. You know, when we talk about, I gave you that list of some of my most favorite teams, and most of those teams were overachieving.
Okay.
You know, most times I think guys underachieve. They don't play up to their potential, up to their talent. You know, there's a saying: to whom much is given, much will be expected. And talent without discipline is a waste. So I don't like it when we don't play up to our capabilities. I don't mind losing, but I don't like winning when we play poorly.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I mean, I remember I was coaching at San Diego High way back in like 1990, and we whipped up on Hoover. We beat them like 90-60. But I thought we were being selfish, okay, and too individualistic. So I'm ripping them in the locker room, and apparently the vice principal from Hoover comes walking through it, and she writes this like 2-page letter to our vice principal. About, you know, is this guy crazy? Is this guy out of his mind? You know? And so the vice principal calls me into the office and says, Dennis, is everything all right at the house? Are you okay? I go, Julie, what are we talking about here? You know, why'd you call me in? Well, the vice principal over at Hoover wrote this letter about you saying you. I said, we didn't play hard enough. They were too selfish. The game needs to be played hard and right. We done here? I got things to do. And that was the end of that conversation. But yeah, I don't like it when we don't play hard and we don't play right. Same thing, too. We were playing in the Fall League tournament yesterday. We were in the finals against Escondido, and we started putting a hurt on them. And one of my players hits a 3, you know, and then he gives a salute.
Saluting himself to the bench.
You know, I pull him on. I pull him over. So tell me about the salute. What are we saluting here? You got time to salute. You got time to sprint back and play some defense.
It's true.
You know?
Coach only has 3 rules.
Yeah.
You know, so I take that real serious, you know. I mean, so anyway, we had a little conversation. He put him back in, and everything was fine. But,
yeah. So, Coach, you coach your son, but you also coach your coaching mate over there at Mission Bay, Willie Matson's son, right?
Yeah, Sean Matson.
He was a guy, wasn't he?
Oh, he could play. He was a shifty, smart, you know, really, really good point guard. I mean, he's one of my all-time favorite point guards. Yeah. I mean, that was a hell of a team we had that year, too, you know. No, Sean Matson could play. Yeah. And I really thank Willie for giving me the chance to coach his son because, you know, Sean was a really good kid. Yeah. You know, I hear he's working out there at Chaparral with
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he wants to get a special ed credential last time I talked to him. He finally kind of, Sean was always one of those kids who really didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, and hopefully, he's kind of finding his way here. And last time I talked to him, he was really excited about working with those kids out there.
That's awesome. So he's going to coach basketball too?
He doesn't, he sees his dad, and he's never really kind of excited him, I mean, Sean's always kind of an easygoing kid. I don't know if that would suit him very well.
My jaw doesn't jet out.
No, he don't. Willie's one of a kind.
I think you guys are two of a kind.
But it works.
He was your point guard for that championship season in San Diego, right?
No, we never got. We never won a championship in all those years at San Diego High. We got to the finals Yeah, but no, we lost in the semifinals to Carlsbad up at San Diego High School that year, and they just shot the lights out, and we came up a little bit short. So that was his senior year. So Sean was a really good player for us, and I've had a lot of really good players. A lot of good memories, a lot of different players.
What was your most memorable game or time in basketball?
Well, the most memorable times is the time in practice with those kids. That's what I enjoy most. And they're just some of the personalities. Some of the stories. What I always find really kind of amusing is what they remember versus what I remember.
Right.
I said this and I said that. I said, really? I said that? I don't remember that. But anyway, when they get together and they start telling stories about me, that's when I really like, and they're older and, the perspective's a little bit different. That's always a real joy for me. But, I just remembered little stories when Brad Milhone was helping me coach back in, 93, 94, we had the best point guard I ever coached. And I've coached a few like Sean Matson, Derek Thompson. I got a really great point guard right now, and Justin Moore, who just signed with Tulane University.
Wow.
But Cedric Bagby was a basketball savant. This guy was something else. I mean, the things he could do, you couldn't teach. And he's the only little guard. He was only about 5'8". He's the only guard I ever had who I put in the back of the press. Normally you put a big guy in the back of the press. I put Cedric back there because he was so just innately gifted at either stealing the ball, taking a charge, or stripping a guy from the ball. But anyway, Cedric was a handful. Cedric was a real mental challenge as far as coaching goes. And I remember one time, Brad comes over and goes, I don't know how you can stand Cedric. I can't stand to be around him for 2 hours. I go, Brad, calm down, Think about it this way. You only got to be around Cedric for 2 hours. Cedric has to be around himself for 24 hours. So how do you think that feels to him? Stuff like that, stories like that, it just kind of makes it so worthwhile. And there's a camaraderie, that you get from coaching sports. The only thing in civilian life, it's kind of like being in the military, Those guys that serve together, they're in life and death situations. Coaching sports isn't like that, but it's probably the closest thing you can get in society because, there's a bond that develops between players and coaches and players that you don't get anywhere else. I mean, the guy I coached way back in 1976, Russ Dyer, I was up there visiting him in Portland for his 50th birthday party. And I'm flying up there and I'm going, how can he be 50 when I'm only 45? So anyway, his son, who's now playing at Azusa Pacific, he's out in the backyard, and I'm talking to him a little bit about his footwork, and I'm getting into him a little bit, and his wife, starts saying, "Why are you talking to him like that?" And I just see, Russ kind of roll his eyes, and then later on he goes, "She just doesn't know. Yeah. She just doesn't get it, Coach." And I mean, here's a guy, 1976, we still stay in contact.
Right.
And he's where he's at a lot because of, what I did for him.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he listened to me his senior year. He got a scholarship to the University of Portland. He played in Australia for 8 or 10 years.
Wow.
He's even Mr. Australian basketball one year.
Wow.
I mean, I turned that kid's life around. I mean, a lot of what he ended up being was a result of those 2 years we spent together.
That's what it's about. Man.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is, you know. I mean, but yeah, I remember she just got it rolling. She just don't get it. And they don't. And unless you're in it, you know, you don't have appreciation for it.
So, Coach, away from the basketball court, what does Dennis Kane do to entertain himself? I mean,
Family show, Coach.
Oh, it's a family show.
I don't have my censor button.
I ride motorcycles. I like to dance, you know.
Hey.
I've really gotten into going to blues concerts and stuff like that.
Nice.
Like when I retire here, I want to get an RV, and my first tour is going to be blues, barbecue, and baseball.
There you go. We'll get some barbecue out there for you.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that, but those guys from Madison,
Should have had them on.
they should have had them on last.
Well, Coach, man, this was a great interview. I'm honored to have you come over here. And
Anytime for you guys, man. I love chewing the fat with you guys.
Bring you in after you win the CIF this year, Coach.
That's right, man.
I hope so.
Dennis Kane from Mission Bay, head coach of the Mission Bay Buccaneers. Thanks for coming, my man.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next week on Coach Rose Show.